Oh, it's time for another math easy solution. Today we're going to discuss imaginary numbers. Well, what is it? Well, I'll write the definition down. Definition. Imaginary numbers is defined as I squared. I is the imaginary number. I squared equals -1. It's called imaginary because you can't have this with a real number. Anything squared is always going to be positive. And also this could also be written as, if you square both sides, I equals -1. If you can't have even though you can't have this, we still have this because it comes up in equations that we can only solve by using this definition. So let's go with an example to illustrate this definition. Let's say you have quadratic formula like this: x squared minus 4x plus 5 equals 0. Okay, so if we were to solve this, we would use the quadratic formula. You could click the link to see the video on which I proved the quadratic formula. And the quadratic formula is basically x equals -b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. In this case we have a is equal to 1, that's this coefficient, and b is -4 because the definition had a plus b. Okay, and then c is equal to 5. Yep, so if we plug it in, we get x equals -4, which is b, plus or minus -4b squared minus 4 times a is 1 times c is 5. So write this all over it, all divided by 2 times 1. Alright, so if we simplify this, this becomes just 4 plus or minus, I'll just divide out the 2. 4 divided by 2 plus or minus, this will be square root 4, let's erase this, 16, -4 squared is always positive, 16 minus 20, all divided by 2. Now if you simplify this even more, you get 2 plus or minus, that's going to be -4 over 2. -4 all over 2. So now that's the furthest we can get before applying the imaginary numbers. As you can see, there's a -4. We can't square root it because we can't use it with just conventional methods, so we have to use imaginary number. So if we write it further, we could further simplify it to go 2 plus or minus, let's go with square root -1 times square root 4. We could do that just by taking the -1 out, and then this is all divided by 2. Square root of 4 is 2, so we can simplify this more. We could go plus or minus, this is 2, and 2 divided by 2 is 2, so it is 1, so they cancel. So you'll get, yeah, so this cancels with that, and then we'll just left with -1. And from the definition we have it there, I is equal to square root -1, so then this equals to 2 plus or minus I. So that is the solution to it. The plus or minus means we can have x equals, say x1 is equal to 2 plus I, and x2 is equal to 2 minus I. So if we were to draw this in a graph showing real numbers, which is the 2, and imaginary numbers, which the coefficient is 1. So we'll draw a graph. This is real, and this is imaginary. Imaginary, which is I. So then for x1, we'll have this. This is x1. This is 1. This is x1, which has coefficients 2 and 1. x2 is going to be something like that. It's going to be below -1. And this right here is 2. And then this length is just c, which is equal to c, what is it, 2 squared plus 1 squared all squared. So that is 4 plus, so this is 4 plus 1, and this is from the Pythagoras Theorem. Let me just, one sec. Okay, so this is from the Pythagoras Theorem, and you could click the link, Pythagorean Theorem, which is c squared equals a squared plus b squared for a triangle with right angle, A, B, C, and you can click the link to see the video of that. Well, this is all there is, basically the introduction to imaginary numbers, and that's the definition. This is how you could use it to solve equations that involve square root of a negative number, which you can't do unless you apply the definition of imaginary numbers. Well, that's all. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned for another math easy solution.